They don't deserve to see you cry. They lost that privilege when they broke your heart. They caused your tears to fall and they didn't wipe it away. You see, why you feel the way you feel is because you have not fully understood what you are going through and the power you possess to overcome it. Heartbreaks present one of the most excruciating kind of pain to the soul and oftentimes transcends to the body. It is as though part of your being has been torn away violently. The choice of words used in describing this experience, heart and break, remain very accurate. Because it is truly the heart that feels the pain, and it literally breaks into many pieces, like shattered pottery. Despite the Bible being aware of this devastating human experience that does not exempt anyone, believers or not, the Bible still goes ahead to make a promise in Romans chapter 8 verse 28 that all things work together for good for those who love God. All things, including heartbreaks. As devastating as the experience could be, it doesn't matter. We are then left to wonder, how does any good come out from having heartbreak? Well, you see, for those who have experienced it and came out victorious, you are not alone. You are not alone. Not the first, and you will not be the last to have a heartbreak. They would all boldly answer that the good that comes out from having a heartbreaking experience is the blessedness of moving on. The heartbreak may have discouraged you, put you down, and cheated you. But your opportunity presents at last is your letting go and moving on. Moving on after a heartbreak is a whole new thrilling process that brings out the better version of you. Herein lies the good that is worked out for you. But to move on and to see the good side of your heartbreak, you must let that hurt go. Stop holding on to them. How do you hold on to a rope suspended in thin air? Why? How and why? Holding on to things and people from your past that are not holding on to you is like building a castle in the air. Letting go of them does not mean that you are going to fall, but rather you free your hands to hold on to things and people that are holding on to you. That way, you will be building your castle on a solid ground. Those people looked you straight in the face and chose to cause you pain. And so stop making excuses for them. You gotta let them go. Truth is, they've already gone. They have left you behind. You are only holding on to a mere shadow of what was, or fantasy of what could be. But they're gone. They're gone. So you gotta accept that fact. Accept the fact that people enter your life for temporary happiness. Once they hurt you, it shows that their tenure is over. You need to let them go and stop trying to make what was meant to be temporary permanent. The person you are holding on to and fighting for has already moved on. You have been fighting enough, darling. It is time for you to be fought for. You have been moving mountains for this person. It is time to stop. Climb those mountains and stay at the peak. Stop crying because you think your son is gone. Those tears will keep you from seeing the stars. The star that will light up your life for a billion years. Yes, they may have hurt you, and the pain from that is inevitable, but suffering from it is not. Don't allow them to keep on hurting you. Don't allow them to keep on hurting you by refusing to let them go. Because then you give them the power. Then you give them the power. They hurt you once and broke your heart. Well, it's their fault. But if you keep on letting them hurt you and messing with your mind, then it's gonna be your fault. You see, you have got to have this understanding and it's gonna help you move on. Understand that you didn't lose them. They lost you. I mean, Jesus himself called you. He called you the light of the world. Matthew chapter 5 verse 16, that's what he says. And as a light, you are precious, you are valued, you are cherished. You belong above, not under somebody's feet. You are the light of the world, not somebody's ping pong ball. You've got to believe that. They cannot keep tossing you, keep on tossing you about and treating you as they like. Do not take that anymore. Don't take that any longer. You need to also understand this hard truth, that no matter how hard your heart was broken, the world would not wait. It's not going to wait for you to grieve. Even your own life will not stop moving. And so, will you keep on sulking over someone that doesn't even care? Or would you move on? Are you gonna move on with your life? Think over it, think it thoroughly, and you realize that the ones who hurt you are not worth losing the rest of your life over. You should also understand that after an ending is always a beginning. Endings are never forever. The fact that things ended between you and that person, it means something new is coming your way. It means something better is coming your way. The same door they shut against you, somebody better will walk through that same door. And they're going to be bringing many tidings into your life. They're going to be bringing many good tidings into your life. And so let them go. Let them go. So you can see the person that God has for you, and you can open the door for them. The entirety of the idea of letting those that broke your heart go lies in you forgiving them. You may never forget them, but you can surely forgive them. Forgiving those that hurt you is ultimately for your own good. Mark Fisher wisely said, being resentful and unforgiving towards someone that hurt you is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Why let them poison you with the bile that is unforgiveness? For the sake of your own peace and moving on, forgive them. Acknowledge that they have hurt you. Acknowledge that you are in pain. And then muster all the strength and courage left in you. And then you gotta forgive them. Let forgiving them be the last show of your love for them. Taking the step to forgive them shows that you're bold. It shows how bold and how strong you are. You see, forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, and it is also not a signal for you to get back with them. Nah. You can forgive them and still choose to stay away, so they don't hurt you any further. Don't wait for apologies before you forgive them. Forgive them on your own, for yourself, so that you can have peace. By forgiving them, you take the keys to your heart and emotions away from them. To forgive them is easier said, I know. It may be the hardest thing that you would ever do, but ask God for grace, because you know that it is for your own good. Now you can commit yourself to becoming a better version of yourself. You are free and in charge of your life and emotions. Present yourself to God for His healing work. Let Him mend your heart that has been broken and make you whole. Focus on yourself and your progress. The only way to go from this point is forward. The only way to go from this point is forward. It is too late for anyone who failed to see your worth before now, because you have become even more valuable. Know that it is a process. The moment you let them go by forgiving them and choosing to move on, you begin to heal. Since you are a child of God, healing will come to you. For healing is the bread of God's children. That's what the Bible says. And so love yourself. Love yourself enough to let go, so that your healing process can begin and the journey to a much better you can start. You miss someone and this person becomes everything to you in a matter of time. You can't resist the butterflies that comes dancing in your stomach when you talk to them, and you can't explain the reason for your wide smile whenever you are around them. You begin to imagine the future with them and begin to involve them in your plans until everything goes down the drain and you guys go back to being strangers. Sad, right? The truth is, it is difficult to move on like you never had feelings. While this is as easy as ABC to some people, it is difficult for others, especially if they had genuine feelings for this person. Moving on takes time, I guess we all know that though. It is not as easy as it sounds, especially if you are finding it difficult to let go of this person. It could take weeks, months, and in some cases years to move on from your ex. Moving on does not mean having a rebound to distract yourself from the pain due to your past relationships. Moving on basically means going on with your life and not hanging on to your past relationship. To move on from your ex quickly, you should allow yourself feel the pain and let go of your feelings. Open yourself fully to whatever emotion you are feeling. Acknowledge the pain and cry if need be. Holding back or bottling up your emotions will only make it worse. If you put a lid on a boiling pot, the contents will rise to the top and spill over. This applies to human beings. If you keep pushing down your emotions or bottling them up, one day you will explode or let your feelings out angrily, which you might eventually regret later. The first step in the healing process is to acknowledge and accept your feelings. The second step is taking to somebody. It could be a therapist or a trusted friend. As the old saying goes, a problem shared is a problem solved. Talking to someone about your feelings could lead to emotional relief. Keeping things to yourself is not the best because it can lead to depression. Letting go of all your worries and just talking to a trusted person will make you feel better. Most times, the person would have experienced the same thing, so he or she will be able to relate, and this would make you feel better. The third step is engaging in extracurricular activities. You should try as much as possible not to be alone. This would only make you think about your ex more often than you should, which would definitely make you sad. Try to do things you love. Go out with friends, meet new people. Hit the gym, take a stroll in a serene environment to clear your head. Learn a new sport. Try not to be idle, so that there would be no room for you to think about this person. It is impossible to suddenly stop thinking about your ex, but when you are engaged or busy with something, you might have less time to think about him or her. The fourth step is to forgive this person. You have to make a decision to forgive this person no matter what. According to Ephesians chapter 4 verse 32, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ forgave you. If God forgives you anytime you sin, then who are you not to forgive someone? No matter how much pain the person caused you, just forgive the person and learn from it. Forgiving your ex is a huge step you take if you want to be able to heal. Even if you move on without forgiving this person, you become bitter towards this person and it turns to hatred. 1 John chapter 2 verse 9, whoever says he is in the light and hates his brother is still in darkness. Whoever says he's in the light and hates his sister is still in the darkness. You should replace your anger and hatred with gratitude. No matter what happened. No matter what happened. Nobody is perfect and everybody makes mistakes. Hating your ex and talking bad about him or her every time only shows that the person still has hold over you. Replace this negative energy with a positive one and learn from the experience you had. When you do not forgive others, it brings bondage to your soul. When we experience Christ's forgiveness, we receive peace, and to retain this peace, we must forgive others. Remember that forgiving others also means forgiving yourself. Louis Smedes says, to forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that that prisoner was you. The next step is for you to talk to God. God has the answer and solution to everything. You should talk to God in all endeavors of your life, even after a breakup. First of all, you need the grace of God to forgive this person, and you also need His grace to heal. The truth is, you cannot do this on your own. No matter how hard you try, you cannot do it on your own. Without God, you will always struggle. Knowing God and involving God in everything just brings peace to you. Forgiving someone who hurt you is not so easy, and that is why you need the grace of God to do it. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 10. And after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to His eternal glory in Christ, will Himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. So it is important you know that God will restore you, confirm you, strengthen, and establish you. And the next step is to recognize that there is someone out there for you. The only thing is, you haven't just realized it or met the person yet. Just because you are single now doesn't mean you will be single forever. A popular saying goes, there is a man for every woman and a woman for every man. It may be difficult for you to accept this because you probably thought your ex was the perfect one for you. When you are going through a painful breakup, it is hard to imagine that you would ever find someone else. But relationships end for good reasons, and maybe you two weren't just right for each other. Everything happens for a reason, and God knows best. Now, most importantly, we should have it at the back of our minds that we do not have to be in a relationship to feel complete. We are complete by God and ourselves, and relationships shouldn't be there to complete you. The final step is finding yourself again. Who are you before you met this person? What were the things you loved? What were the things you loved doing before you got into a relationship? When you get into a relationship, it becomes we and not I. Because you would have to involve this person in almost all your plans. It is not uncommon to lose yourself when you are in a relationship. This is why you need some time to think about who you were and where you want to be in the future. Make time for yourself and think of ways you can grow yourself physically, spiritually, mentally, rather than being stuck in a particular spot.